You're probably wondering how I ended up here. Well, on the way to Duluth, Minnesota for Grandma's Marathon. It's about a 3.5 hour drive from Rochester, so just kind of enjoying the scenery. It's kind of rainy, but as you can kind of see in the background, there's a lot of like forest terrain. Getting hyped, feeling good. I kind of have to pee, so I'm hoping I get there pretty soon. The expo was kind of chaotic. There was a small little convention center with tens of thousands of people roaming about, and it was shoulder to shoulder traffic throughout the time that I was there. It was a great little small town feel, but just too many people for that area. After the packet pickup, I then headed to my hotel, which was about an hour and a half away from Duluth. That is because when I registered for Grandma's Marathon, all of the hotels were already sold out. So I didn't account for this, but my hotel is in the middle of nowhere in Minnesota, and there are no restaurants or any places to get food. So I just went to the local grocery store and got some bread and some deli meat, and that's going to be my lunch and dinner. And then I brought some oats for breakfast for tomorrow morning before the race, but a lack of preparation on my part, but we're making it work. Keep in mind, I registered in December of the prior year for this marathon. If you are planning on registering for Grandma's Marathon, make sure you do it early and make sure you get a hotel very, very early. I stayed at a Days Inn in Hinckley, Minnesota. My hotel room was not exactly a 5-star resort, but hey, this was just one night I was staying there. I wasn't trying to pay an arm and a leg for somewhere to sleep. Big mistake. Right, night before the race, I've got everything all laid out here. We got the bib number 2388. Have a llama good day. I'll show you guys that tomorrow. All the gear, gels, electrolytes, kind of the pre-morning food all set out. I have to be up by like 3:45 in the morning in order to get all my stuff packed up, get ready in the morning, and then drive to Duluth in order to hopefully catch the train in order to be at the start line and take that scenic route there. So time to get some shut-eye. Hopefully we can get a good night's rest. I am feeling a little bit nervous, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm excited for this race. So hopefully gonna get a good rest and get after it in the morning. Good night. I did not get any sleep that night. Well, it's 4 a.m. and we are on the way to the race. I did not sleep last night. I was so anxious, but I'm feeling good this morning. Feeling ready to go, and T-minus about 3 hours until the race kicks off, so let's do this. So the first 450 to 500 competitors who reached the train in the morning were able to ride this North Shore Scenic Route train along the Lake Superior coast. I really wanted to get in this experience, but I don't necessarily think that I would do it again if I did Grandma's Marathon. I got there at about 5 a.m. Keep in mind, the marathon started at, I think, 7:40 or 7:45 a.m., so I was there really, really early. On top of that, I was just sitting on the train for about an hour and a half before it even started moving. We got there right before the race was about to start. I then had to rush to drop off my gear bag in the gear exchange and use the restroom one final time, and the lines for these restrooms were insane. When we pulled up on the train, there were people taking dumps in the woods, and we saw everything. Let's talk about this marathon, shall we? So I actually started the marathon a little bit late, but that's okay because it was a chip-timed event, which means once you cross the start line is when your actual time begins. Mile 1, I came out of the jump a little bit too fast, and I told myself I had to slow down. So my pacing strategy was I would start at just over an 8-minute mile and slowly wean my way down until I'm hitting about 7-minute 40-second miles, which is a pace that was a little bit challenging for me, but something that I knew that I could maintain. Eventually, I kind of averaged out around 7:45 miles for the first 5, 6, 7 miles. Once I hit that first 10-kilometer mark, I was still feeling really good, so I decided to bump it up a little bit. I ended up doing 1 mile at, I think, 7 minutes and 30 seconds, which was pretty quick for me. But again, I was still feeling really good. Mile 11 goes well, mile 12 goes well. I hit the half marathon point, and my brain starts playing those tricks on you where it's like, okay, we're only halfway. We still have to do another half marathon after this. And I start shutting those thoughts down in my head. I'm like, yes, this is what a marathon is. You have prepared, you have trained really hard, you've done 20-mile runs. You know what it's like to have this feeling in your head telling you to turn around, telling you to stop, telling you to slow down, telling you to quit. You got to push through those feelings. That's the art of the marathon. So I push through those. Mile 13 goes well, mile 14 goes well, mile 15 goes well until the tail end of mile 15. I start to feel a little rumble in my stomach. All of a sudden, my goo energy packets or my carb supplement are not going down as easy. And I'm like, okay, all right, next porta potty I see, I'm gonna stop at because I gotta use the bathroom. Once I reach the porta potty, all hell breaks loose. I take a dump. I hate to say it, but I want to be real with you guys. I take a dump, and then I end up throwing up. So I start feeling really nauseous out of nowhere. I throw up, and I'm like, okay, all right. Hopefully that was a one and done situation, but that was rough. I ended up taking, I think, 16 minutes on that mile just because of all the time it took to use the bathroom, to get cleaned up, to throw up. Not great. I do feel a little bit better after doing that though, and so I continue on with my race. Once I stumble out of the porta potty, I am still feeling pretty nauseous, pretty uneasy, and so I slow down my pace a little bit. I tell myself, okay, if I slow down for a mile or two, that's okay. I can pick it back up. My legs are still feeling really strong. I'm feeling really good. Mentally, I am still there. I'm still ready to go crush this marathon. And so I continue on. Mile 17, I end up doing 8 minutes 38 seconds. Mile 18, I do 8 minutes 55 seconds. So the miles are definitely slower. That's okay. Still feeling really nauseous. But I think towards the end of the race, I'll have a little bit of an adrenaline spike, right? I will be so close to the finish line. The crowds will be there. I know this about Grandma's Marathon. I've never run it before, but I've seen countless videos. It's a very quiet race leading up to about mile 20, but then the crowds get big, they get loud. It's a great environment. Mile 20 hits, and I start feeling even more nauseous. I stop on the side of the road, do a little dry heaving. Nothing's really coming up besides a little bit of spit, but I continue on. Mile 21, I do 9 minutes 36 seconds. Mile 22 hits, and I had to use the porta potty again. Just gotta finish. My stomach is just really upset. Again, nothing is going down. I'm taking electrolyte supplements. I've got my Gainful hydration packs. Those are going down, which is good because I'm replenishing the electrolytes that I'm sweating out and vomiting out. Everything is going okay, but mile 22 hits and everything just goes downhill from there. Mile 23, 10 minutes. Mile 24, another 10 minutes. And it's slow for me. It's slow for me, but again, I'm feeling so nauseous. I think at mile 22, I texted my family and I said, oh my gosh, like I am seriously considering dropping out of this race. Like I do not feel good. I can't keep anything down. I'm trying to supplement with carbs because I know I need the energy to run out these last 6 or so miles. And I am just not feeling good. I keep passing medical tents telling myself, all right, if you really need to, just drop out of the race. Okay, this might be a good stopping point. But something in my mind tells me I got to keep going. All right, I paid good money for this race. I paid money for my crappy hotel. I've trained for over 18 weeks for this freaking race. I've just got to finish it. Also, the medal looks pretty sick. Let me get that for you guys. Probably one of the coolest race medals that I've ever seen. but this is a sick medal. So that's all going through my head. I'm telling myself, I've got to finish this freaking race. I've seen so many people finish this race. Honestly, it would be a great race, but it's just not my day today, and I've got to accept that. I was on pace for doing, I think, a 3-hour, 25-minute marathon, but we got to get through. Around mile 23, mile 24, I run past this guy, and he's kind of walking, he's stumbling. I had seen him earlier in the race. I think I passed him earlier, and then while I was in the bathroom or throwing up, he must have passed me again at some point. And so I kind of tap him on the shoulder as I'm trotting on by. I'm like, hey, let's go, man. We only got 4 to go. Let's get it. And we end up running together for a couple of miles. His name was Francis. I never got his contact information or anything. So Francis, if you're seeing this, reach out to me, dude. I saw you finished. Good work. Anyways, this is when I really kick it into gear. I'm still feeling nauseous, still feeling a little lightheaded, but I know I am right on that finish line. The cool thing about this race, the last 3 miles, you're running into downtown Duluth, and the fans are just going crazy. It is ear blaring, cheering, cowbells, balloons, the whole 9 yards. Mile 25, I end up doing 9 minutes. Mile 26 is another 9-minute mile. To me, I feel like I'm really flying through it. Like I'm feeling good. Again, I'm definitely slowed down. 1, because my legs are tired at this point, but 2, because I feel like I'm gonna pass out at any moment and my stomach hurts. The last 0.2 to 0.4, because I think this race was a little bit longer than 26.2. I think it ended up being like 26.4 when it was all said and done. I end up going right back to that 7:45 pace. And I go through the finish line, and my muscles just start shutting down. Like, my legs are cramping up. I can barely stand. I'm waiting in line at the gear bag check, and it's just not going well. I grab my gear. The cold rain's still coming down. My family is there to meet me. And once I'm with them, I just start to feel comfortable again. Like, I feel like myself. Obviously, my legs are still tired, but I just feel more like myself. I feel like, okay, I'm safe. I made it. I made it through this daunting challenge. I made it through this rough experience, but I just ran a freaking marathon. That was my second marathon I've ever ran. I finished in 3 hours and 50 minutes, which is not what I was hoping for. I was aiming for a sub 3 hour, 30-minute marathon, which I was on freaking pace for, and I was feeling good until I got sick. But that is over an hour faster than the first time I ever ran an official marathon. Today, kind of reflecting on this journey, all this training, I'm disappointed that I didn't reach my goal of 3:30, but given the circumstances, given the crappy weather, given the stomach issues I was having, given the sickness I was feeling, I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of the hard work, the dedication, everything that I put into this. The marathon is not about those 26.2 miles. It's about every mile that you put in of training. I did over 700 miles of training leading up to this event. It's about all of the carb loading, the nutrition, the hydration, all the dedication that you put into training, the discipline that it takes to put on those running shoes even when you're not feeling like it, the waking up early, the sacrifices you have to make on your weekend mornings when you have to get in that long run, and that exhaustion that you feel after those long runs just to be prepared for this 26.2. That is what running the marathon is all about, and that is why this is such a rewarding experience and something that I will do again. And I will continue to try and shave time off of my marathon, because I need to go for that sub 3 hour 30-minute marathon, and eventually I want to do a sub 3 hour marathon. With that being said, I'm going to have to continue to run regularly, consistently, because I've only been running consistently leading up to this event for about a year. I started my running journey about 4 years ago. Ever since then, it's been kind of off and on, off and on. But I've only been running consistently for about a year or less. And so I think that if I can run consistently, if I can continue to learn from my mistakes, from my pitfalls, from everything in between, and just become a better runner in general, I don't think that any time goal that I have stands a chance for this dedication, for this consistency, for this discipline. And so I'm going to come back stronger next marathon. I'm going to continue to educate myself on, and I'm going to continue to make progress. So far, I've only run 2 marathons, but they've all been personal bests. So the third one, I don't know when that's going to be. I don't know what my goal for that one's going to be, but I'm going to be way better prepared, and I'm going to absolutely crush it. And I just know that. With that being said, that is how Grandma's Marathon went for me. Not my greatest run in the world, not what I had in mind, but we got through it. We set a personal best that was over an hour faster than the last marathon and gave me a lot to learn from and a lot to continue to build off of as I continue my running and my fitness journey. Thanks for watching the video. If you are interested in watching more videos of my fitness journey, learning more about fitness, or maybe starting your own fitness journey, make sure you hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments what I should do next for my fitness goals. What challenges do you think that I can crush? Marathon is going to be on the list, but I want to do more too. So let me know what you think. Thanks for joining the channel, and we'll see you next time.